Welcome to the Tap Room Exclusive. I'm Dean Zarbaugh. I'm here at Franklin Brewing Company with Aaron, Mark, and Howard. And we are chilling here. We are now moving on to the Library Company. This is a fresh hop, wet hop IPA. For someone who might not be familiar with that style, what's the difference between a fresh hop IPA and an IPA?
For us, we deal directly with the hop growers. In this case, it's Rustling Bines in Vermilion, Ohio. We stay in contact with them to the point where they're ready to harvest.
Okay.
We plan our brew days around that to the point where they'll harvest that weekend, and we use it that same day. So it doesn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're not pelletizing it. It's whole cone. It's still fresh. It's got a much earthier flavor. A lot of the hops haven't had time to, bitter up yet or go through the processing yet, dry out.
Right.
So it just creates a whole different balance and complexity with the beer than after it's processed and dried out.
Okay. And because I really enjoy fresh hop, wet hop IPAs. It's a nice style. I like IPAs in general. That's just one of my styles. And I've really been enjoying the trend of fresh hop IPAs. And this one is just as good as all the other ones that are out there, if not better. Really nice, flavorful. It's got a nice complexity to it. What can people expect when they drink this beer?
It's going to be, so the beer itself is through and through all Cascade hops.
Okay.
Grown locally. Compare these to Washington. You're going to get different flavors anyways.
Yeah.
But it's just so refreshing and a little bit of dirty earthiness to it, but still a little bit of that Cascade juiciness, some of the fruitiness out of it. Really enjoyable. A lot of the regulars that we have come by are not hopheads. They're not IPA drinkers. They'll leave with growlers of that.
Oh, nice.
They thoroughly enjoy it. It's only coming in. We chalk it out at 60 IBU. It doesn't taste anywhere near that.
No, I would not have
tastes very
expected
light.
that from just off the flavor.
Yeah.
It's got a nice flavor.
And that also depends on how we hop it and when we hop it.
Okay.
In the boil and what we
Right.
do. And basically, I mean, I can say right now we have 3 steady IPAs that we create. 2 of them, pretty much all of the IBUs that you're going to see come in like the last 10 minutes of the boil.
Okay.
So we're not hitting you with that palate wrecker,
Right,
hey, this is, I got a coat on my mouth of, hops now.
Right.
We're giving you more of a flavor and an aroma. So when you read and it says, hey, this is 60, 70, 80, 90 IBUs, and you're like, oh, I don't want to try that. And then they do, and it's like, wow, that doesn't taste like that at all.
Right.
It's, because of how we do what we do.
Yeah. It's the science and the art aspect of brewing.
Absolutely.
That's always kind of been what fascinates me, is just how putting something in at a certain time can change the flavors of this.
Yep.
Of any beer.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say you put it in slightly different time. Like what could change in the flavor of that beer?
Yeah, I think if we went, heavier on the upper half of the boil, the longer side of it, you would get a lot more bitterness out of it.
A little bit more like a bite.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have it pretty well balanced throughout it. This was a recipe Aaron and I spitballed and came up with. We have some standard drop times that we do. We know what comes out at what times,
Gotcha.
15 or 20 minutes. This one we went a little different on. Normally we're doing 15-minute drops, spread between 60 and 45 or whatever. This one we shortened it a little. We kind of did every 10.
Okay.
Just dropped them in just continuously almost. And the hops themselves just open up, and you taste it through and through.
Yeah.
You get the kind of earthy, bitter back end. You get some of that juiciness through the front and on the nose, and then it dissipates, and you want more, and you just keep drinking it, and you get all that over again each time.
Yeah, it makes you want to have another beer.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I really like about the style, is it's just one of those that feeds into itself, like you were saying. Is
Absolutely.
You just really, after you're done with one, you want another one. And, it's 6.6% ABV. It's not super high ABV. You can have a couple of them.
Absolutely.
And still not feel like you're losing your head. And,
Absolutely.
just going a little too overboard.
Yeah, and really for me, the pride of this beer is knowing that we get to talk directly and work with the hop grower.
Yeah.
we go out on the farm while he's growing them, or he'll call us and be like, hey, I don't know what you guys are doing today. Come on out. I want to show you where we're at with these hops. We'll go walk the farm and get to smell the stuff, try the stuff, see where they're at. He explains why they're the size they are and how they're maturing, and we get the whole experience.
And that's a great thing about working local like that is you get that opportunity where if you're flying to Washington or Oregon all the time, that could get a little costly, first of all. And second of all, that's a long flight. And you got to deal with all that stuff, and I just don't want to deal with that.
Right.
But, getting to be able to just drive over to Vermilion and say, hey, what's going on?
Yep.
That's got to be really cool. And you guys do a lot of local stuff. A lot of your grains and stuff come locally.
Yeah.
This is almost 100% Ohio.
100% Ohio, pretty much?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And, for us, it's, shout out to Steve and Jen at Rustling Binds. We at Franklin it's a labor of love for us. It's a lot of hard work. We're very manual. And then we go out to the farms and see what these people go through to produce the product that we use, that we rely on, and all the work that they have to put in.
It's hard work.
It's crazy. I mean, it's like
the love that they have doing it too.
Yeah.
It definitely translates into what they're producing.
Right.
Because I mean, like you said, Steve and Jen, I mean, they're all about this. I mean, we've talked to other hop growers from Ohio, and he's like kind of the go-to guy that they bounce questions off.
Oh,
of.
nice.
And he comes to us for things of, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, or I'm thinking of doing this. What do you guys think about this stuff?
Yeah.
And it's great that we're all so small and so local that we can just interact.
Right.
And if we go to like Yakima Valley or something, they don't care.
Right.
They got 200 acres of hops and they're growing all these different kinds, and they're like, do you want to buy it or not? You know? And because we're just not at that size where we can go in and say, look, we'd like you to grow X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
But these people, and there's other ones that we use as well, that they're like, well, what would you like us to start growing?
Yeah.
And then we can start
awesome.
telling them, hey, here's what we have, here's the recipes, and we've actually changed a lot of our recipes so that we can start using more of those local hops.
Nice.
Rather than picking the proprietary hops that you can only get from New Zealand or you can only get from the West Coast. We're small, and I started this basically out of whatever I had in my pocket.
Yeah.
And for me to give back to anybody that's local, give back to the community, and then to be able to share in the same things that they're doing and their dreams, that to me, that's what this is all about. That's what the craft brewing industry is all about. It's not about being the biggest guy on the block. It's not about making the best product. It's about making a quality product that people enjoy. And you had mentioned earlier about, it's you have your neighborhood bars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you have your neighborhood breweries.
Right.
And people want to come in and they want to know that, hey, I know Mark. I know Aaron. I know these guys. And I've talked to them, and man, I really enjoy drinking their product. I like the beers that they make.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's...
I like that my money goes to them.
Exactly. And the more stuff that we do that is local that we can use, it's just... I mean, we use local honey. We use everything. Like I said, there's things that we grow here.
Right.
At our house that we
Nice.
use in the products that we make. And then people come in like yourself and you try it and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And it's like, I appreciate that. Thanks. And I grew it right there. Right where you're standing is where I grew this.
That's awesome. And, it's as big of the craft beer boom as is going around right now with the breweries. It seems like here in Ohio, there's also this big boom of like hop farms, and everybody's growing local product now and trying to move that market more and more hyper local. And it's great to see that. It's great to know that I come into someplace, I know that my money is going to a local place, but their money is also going to a local place. So when my money comes into you, you go and take it to a local place too.
Well, stupid fact, before Prohibition, Ohio was a huge hop producer. When we made beer and we did things, the majority of stuff came from Ohio.
Interesting.
Just like some of the other states. When Prohibition came around and all that stuff kind of petered out, those farmers that grew hops couldn't grow hops anymore. So they decided to grow other things.
Gotcha.
And then when Prohibition ended, those guys were already into soybeans and
at
cattle
that point when you're
or
making
whatever
money.
it might have been. Right. So they weren't going to change back because Now you got the people on the West Coast who are like, we've got prime real estate, we've got everything's right where we need it, we're going to grow and we're going to do this. And a lot of that was held by Anheuser-Busch.
Ah.
And controlling the hop market and all that stuff. So now it's great to see that there are so many brewers and so many breweries popping up all over the country. And now all these people, these farmers are like, you know what? I can make this. I can grow this here. And people are like, what do you mean you can grow hops in Ohio? What do you mean you can do that? We used to.
Right.
And that's the thing that I don't think people understand is that what we have here is prime for growing a lot of things and doing a lot of things. And you really don't need other people. I mean,
right.
It's great that we have them because now we can get the more fruity hops. We can get, Mosaic and Eldorado and Citra and all these crazy things and these New Zealand hops that I can't even pronounce their names. But, that's amazing. But still in this state and the things that we can do, the local is the way to go. And as much as possible, that's what we do.
Absolutely. What's something else you want to get out about this beer that I might have forgotten about the profile or about the inspiration behind it, any of that sort of jazz?
Yeah, definitely for the beer itself, super drinkable. I find it to be a very good introductory beer for people. If they're like, I'm not sure about bitterness or this or that, we can give this to them and compare it to our West Coast, our bifocal IPA, which is a West Coast style, which is super bitter and juicy, and compare the two and show them these are both IPAs.
Yeah.
You got to kind of...
There's a spectrum.
Yeah, you got to kind of taste a bunch to go through that. Regarding the beer name, Library Company, we have plenty of fun here at Franklin naming items. Ben Franklin established the first library company in Philadelphia, so that was an easy one for us to grasp onto.
Nice.
And we have a lot of names like that we love, so...
Very cool. I have a new segment I'm doing here on the podcast. You guys are actually my first time doing this. It's called Between Two Hops. It's a little questionnaire I've come up with, kind of like
that could be good and it could be bad.
It could be either or. It's the first time I'm doing it, and we're going to find out. It was inspired by Inside the Actor Studio, the questionnaire at the end of Inside the Actor Studio. So some of those questions are going to be the same. Some of them are going to be the different. A little
favorite word.
I was waiting for an answer here. First question, and feel free, any of you guys, if you want to answer. What is your favorite style of beer to drink and to brew, and why?
My favorite style is a classic IPA, very resiny, piney, heavy on you. Just when I think IPA, I think classical, resiny, dank, palate wrecker.
Right.
Not only my favorite to drink, but the amount of hops that go into brewing it is obscene sometimes, which I love, and that would certainly be my favorite.
Actually, I'm a Pilsner guy.
Okay,
I'm pretty clean.
Nice.
I like that crisp, clean style.
Yeah.
It's a simple go-to for me. If I love beer, and that I don't expect any more than a nice, quaffable drink.
Nice.
As far as something to make, against my better judgment, I lean with Mark, man. I love making the IPAs.
You can reserve the right to change your mind.
Just because of the amount of hops and the amount of things that we throw into them, it just makes it fun.
It's just an experiment. Yeah. On the opposite end of the spectrum, least favorite style to brew or to drink?
I don't know if I should really go on record as saying this, but I don't care for the spiced ales.
Okay. There's if we all like the same kind of beer, thered be only one kind of beer.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean? Everybody's got a different taste. There's going to be a different style for
and that's that whole thing. I mean, we do what we do. We make ours. Is it my go-to? No.
Yeah.
Very similar. My least favorite would be a pumpkin beer, which is why we don't make one.
Gotcha.
Period. Nor do we plan on it.
Done. All right, moving on. Outside of the profession that you have here as a brewer and your own jobs, what is a profession you would like to attempt?
Musician, man. Musician. I'm a bass player, so that's what I'd love to do.
Slapping the bass, man.
That's right.
I have an affinity for social environments. So, being at bars, running bars, working in large environments like that, interacting with people, customer services, almost all of my 9 to 5 and my, weekend jobs.
Yeah.
So just thriving in that environment is where I live.
And going to the other end again, what would you not like to do?
No, I wouldn't be a musician because I don't know how to play anything.
I guess the least enjoyment for me would be IT.
Ooh, yeah, I get that.
I don't get it. I just want to push one button and have it work.
Yeah, right. What hurdles did you personally face opening up, and how did you overcome them?
I guess yeah, exactly. To make a long answer short, paperwork.
Yeah,
hurdles.
Government. I could only imagine
dealing with the states and that's.
This is some fun stuff now. What is the most interesting trend you've seen in 2018 with beer?
For me, a lot of infusions, which I love to see, but then they just go over the top.
Right.
And, everything these days is just over the top. And I think that's why people enjoy our beer. We don't. We stay right in standard alcohol limits, not too over the top. Flavor profiles are right there. Mm-hmm. Just everything is just so too much. And it's nice to dial that back, just to have something enjoyable.
Absolutely.
So for me, I don't see that going away, though, either.
Right.
It's just going to get bigger and bigger. And I
guess my thing is it's that whole New England IPA, man. The NEPAs. It's maybe I'm biased or judgmental or whatever, but if you're not from that area, how can you make something that is of quality from that area?
Right.
I mean, it's like our ESB. I mean, we make what we make, but I'm not claiming that we make anything that's remotely close to what they make in England, because I've never been there.
Yeah.
I drink some of these things like Hetty Topper and some of the other ones that are from that area, and it's like, this is amazing.
Right.
And then I drink some that are from around here or from other places, and it's like, I don't know why you call it this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is one piece of practical advice you would give to someone starting out, starting their own brewery?
Don't.
It's overcrowded.
No, it's not even that.
No,
it's just that, I guess, to be on a serious side, it's far more work than you would ever realize.
Right.
You get delusions of grandeur, and you're like, I want to own my own brewery, and I want to do this, and I can make beer, and people enjoy it, and this is going to be great. And then all of a sudden you get into it, and you're like, there's what? There's paperwork?
Yeah.
I got to deal with who? For what? For why? What? Can I just open the doors and sell beer? No.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way.
Howard's got something.
The sales and marketing guy is going to chime on this one. If you're looking to start a business, especially as a brewing company, or really any business, but we'll keep it in brewing. If you want to start a business and this is your goal, and you want to try to support yourself or your family and actually make money, marketing has to be a forethought.
Right.
Not an afterthought. And by virtue of what I do for a living, I'm in the printing business, and sure, anybody can print anything, but I always try to help my customers market and build their brands. And for a lot of companies, whether they're one person or 30 people, they just don't think about marketing. Mm-hmm. And marketing encompasses so many different things. The names of the products that you're making or the beers that you're brewing, the name of your company. Mm-hmm. What does your company look like? What does your logo look like? When someone walks into your establishment and someone greets that person coming in, what are they saying and how are they saying what they're saying? That still goes back to marketing. So you got to think about all that stuff. You can't just open the doors and go, okay, where is everybody? It doesn't work that way. So marketing has to be a forethought and not an afterthought.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. If you could send a message to yourself 10 years ago, what would you tell the younger you? Yeah, we're getting deep on these ones. We're going to get deep.
Start brewing sooner.
Get going a little bit faster.
And find a brewery to work for sooner so you can learn the ins and outs and not have to make all the mistakes that
under your own name
I've made along the way.
There you go.
However, those mistakes help us learn, right?
Yeah, there you go.
If I went back 10 years from now and was able to talk to myself, I'd say start making New England IPAs.
Sales and marketing guy is going to chime in again. If you were doing any sort of graphic work, date your files. When Aaron and I first started this company, I've actually got files on my laptop that have July 2007.
Oh, wow.
And when I look at those files, my advice to myself would be come up with some better graphics.
Right.
But that's part of the learning process.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just keep going
You
and
gotta
going.
learn from your mistakes.
But yeah, date your files.
There you go. And
Yeah, I was just going to say that's key, because there's times I've asked him for things and he'll send me something. This was actually years ago, but he'd send me something and I look at it and be like, dude, is that the right one? And he's like, I don't know. This is what I have for the. I'm like, no, we worked up some other stuff.
yeah, remember we did this thing? And the last question, gentlemen, what or who has been the biggest influence on your brewing career?
I can say for me, it was definitely my father. Got me involved at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was only 18, 19. Couldn't buy beer, but
Right.
could buy ingredients, so that
Interesting,
helps. Yeah. But just the whole idea of, relax, have a homebrew. The old Charlie quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy what you're doing, love what you're doing, and if you want to take it further than that, great. But never lose sight of that base of love and enjoy what it is that you're doing here. You're being an artisan, you're creating something. I'm not an artist, I'm not a musician. This was a great outlet for me to be able to be hands-on and physical and be able to create something that not only I enjoyed, but other people enjoyed.
Right.
So that was mine, for sure.
Yeah, I think as far as the brewing goes, it'd have to be Jerome Wolliver
Okay.
from Black Box Brewing.
Nice.
He had a home brew shop, and after I got my home brew kit, I went in there and started picking his brain. I want to do more things. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to, all these other stuff. And over the years, we became close and friends, and he gave me so much advice that it was, to this day, I still think of a lot of that stuff. And Mark and I will talk about something, and I'm like, I remember talking to Jerome, and he said, watch out for this, or do this, or do that, and we'll do things and be like, son of a bitch, he was right.
Yeah.
And it's just, for him, yeah, it definitely, when it comes to
Absolutely.
brewing.
Howard?
I'm going to say, from a marketing standpoint, one of the first guys I really gravitated towards was Sam Casualeon from Dogfish. Remember when he had that I can't remember the name of his book, but that TV show, Brewing Up a Business. And you can watch these things on YouTube. And he's such a likable guy that if you're not a fan, if you're a fan of craft beer and you're not a fan of Dogfish Head, or at least Sam, you're not human, because he's just the coolest guy.
Yeah.
From the way he brews, from his ideas, from the way he treats his employees, to his ideas, and just the way he's willing to experiment.
Yeah.
And then from a branding standpoint, Fatheads. I mean, they make some great beer, but what's pushing them over the edge and really building their brand is the marketing that they do.
Right.
The Fathead guy,
Yeah.
genius.
Absolutely.
You can make them look like Santa Claus. You
Yeah.
can make them look like a leprechaun. You could make them look like a scarecrow. I mean, that's genius marketing, and that's one of the reasons that, again, going back to marketing, if you want to be successful in this business, it's got to be a forethought.
Knock it down.
And the marketing, look what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for agreeing to have me out here and feature you guys on the show. Is there anything you want to get out about Franklin Brewing Company before we head out?
Stop out 12 to 4 on Saturdays.
12 to 4 on Saturdays. Get your growler filled. And yeah, there's a lot of great beer here, so please get out here. What's the address?
1345 East Avenue. We're actually Carlisle Township. It's on East Avenue. It's as you're going south towards 10 or 480, whatever you want to call it. It's just south of downtown Elyria, but right off 482. So we're not that far away. Follow us on Facebook. Sign up for our email blasts. We do email blasts every other week. Very active on, watch our events page. That's where we'll tell you. And keep watching us, because, we're by no means done. We're here in a really cool 2.5 car pole barn garage, but we are going to grow, and we're going to have a real place where you can come and visit and sit and talk with us. And the coolest thing about doing this is not so much that we're here, but when you hear people tell their stories about where they've been or what they do or the beers that they've had, to me, that's just when people start talking about their lives and their stories, that's just really cool. And what's better than going to have a beer with a friend? But the cool thing is about what we do is I think people that come here, even if they come alone, they know we're here.
Right.
We've seen posts on our Facebook page, hey man, they're cool guys. So everybody wants to feel like they belong somewhere.
Right.
So this is a place, whether it's here, wherever we go to, wherever we open a tap room, tasting room, whatever you want to call it, wherever we go, we want people to know you can come alone and you're still going to have fun. You're still going to have great conversation with us or with the other patrons there. And we see this all. I mean, there were people here that didn't even know each other that are engaged in conversation.
Nice.
That's what it's about.
That's
hey,
what you
man,
gotta-
let's
you
go
gotta
have a
love
beer.
seeing
And
that.
if you don't have anyone to go have a beer with, you still come here because you can still have a beer with someone.
Yeah. Thank you guys all for doing this, and tune in next week for another all-new episode of the Taproom Exclusive.